How many places do you know of where you can go fishing and it's the only place in America, maybe in the world, that you can do this one thing? Well, we're taking you to that place on this week's episode. It's going to be a fun half hour. Glad you're with us. Fox Sports Outdoors is on the air right now.
You're watching the only program with weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news from the Southeast region. This is Fox Sports Outdoors.
Hi everybody, I'd like to welcome you into this week's show. I'm excited about it because we are coming to you from that place. The only place in America, maybe in the world, where you can catch redfish, a saltwater species of fish, in fresh water. Just over my shoulder, there's the power plant. This is Calaveras Lake. It's located just southeast of San Antonio, Texas. It's one of a pair of lakes, Calaveras and Browning, that sit side by side, where the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department stocks a catchable population of redfish. Now we're going to explain to you how they can live in fresh water and how this all came about. It's a very unique story coming up in the next half hour. Now to do that, help us catch these fish, I've brought along the Blazer Bay 2420 GTS. This is a fully rigged bay boat rigged out by my good friends at Waypoint Marine in Corpus Christi, Texas. Jared Poole and his crew do a great job of rigging out with all the gear, all the goodies, all the toys, including my Mercury 350 Verado hanging off the back of it. We're going to put this in fresh water, Calaveras Lake, and try to catch a few redfish. And while we're doing that, we're taking you around your local region for this week's fishing reports from our expert team of insider reporters from lakes, rivers, and bays right where you live, both saltwater and freshwater. Right now, the Blazer Bay goes down the boat ramp into Calaveras Lake. Next time you see me, I'll be out there fishing. Right now, let's get things started back at the studio with your weekend planner.
These salooner tables are showing fair game fish activity both days this weekend. The best times during the day to have a line in the water begin at 8:58 on Saturday and 9:30 on Sunday. Evening activity picks up around 9:05 on Saturday and 9:41 on Sunday. Look for the sun to rise at 6:53 and set at 5:32. Evenings will be pretty bright with the moon at 92% visibility. Stick with us to check out all the current fishing reports from throughout the area. Also, one of the most liked anglers in the country, Shaw Grigsby, stops by to answer your Ask the Pro questions. See you in a bit.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Motor Guide's wireless and easy-to-use XI3, Waypoint Marine, the Gulf Coast's leading saltwater boating specialist, Strike King, Taiwan On, Nitro Performance Fishing Boats, because champions aren't born, they're made.
There is your freshwater reservoir redfish. Well, we've got ourselves parked down here in some fairly deep water in front of the dam, and I saw a bunch of fish on my graph. Got a couple of bites, and there's one. Does not feel big at all, just a little red, little rat red. Well, there is your freshwater reservoir redfish. Not a big one at all, not a keeper, just a little rat red. But it is a redfish out of Lake Calaveras. Welcome back, everybody. I'm gonna have to dig that one out of him, but let me give you just a little information about where we are. Calaveras and Browning are side by side down southeast of San Antonio, just barely. And Calaveras is the bigger of the two. It's about 3,500 surface acres, and Browning is about 1,300, something like that. Both built in the 60s, got 50, 60 feet of water out in the middle. And these redfish that are stocked in here are stocked by the millions every year. This redfish stocking program actually was experimented with back in the 50s, but it started in earnest in the 80s, and they've been stocked almost every year since then. A bunch of million redfish have been stocked in these lakes, and actually Texas tried this experiment in 29 different lakes over the years, and these were the two survivors. These were the only two that had the right conditions to hold freshwater redfish, or to allow redfish to live in freshwater. And I'll explain what those conditions are coming up soon. I will tell you this though, they do grow huge in here. We were just by some kayak anglers, and a few of them were catching some fish, throwing lipless rattle and crankbaits. You can see a couple of those fish there. In fact, that one is a pretty good one. That's about a 28, 29 inch redfish, that bigger of the two right there. The lake record here is 30 pounds, a 41 inch redfish caught by a friend of mine, Manny Martinez, who guides here. I'll give you that information a little bit later. But to get this one out, release this fish, and we'll see what else happens here. There's some other species of fish in here. We'll talk about it. Maybe we'll catch one. We'll see what happens here at Calaveras.
Well, we've had some great autumn coastal weather, and the fishing really is outstanding too because of the weather, and the bait schools are still here in big supply. I'll have all the details, but first this from our good friends at Foreshore Transportation. Foreshore Transportation, the simple solution to all your freight hauling needs. Foreshore can ship freight across the country or across the state. Whatever the load, wherever the destination, Foreshore gets it done fast, safe, and hassle-free. Boy, coastal Mississippi is having some of the best spotted sea trout fishing of the year. Most of the action's in the lower bays, bayous, and river mouths around Bay St. Louis, Biloxi, and Pascagoula. The reason this is so is all the bait is flushing out of the rivers and the bayous, and it's going out into the bigger water where the sea trout, redfish, flounder, and other species are available for them. But the trout fishing has really been good, and there's been lots and lots of 2 and 3 pound trout. Early in the morning, the fish are up high. You can catch them on top dogs and Zara Spook surface lures. Also swimming baits like the MirrOlure MR17 and 21. The night fishing also has been good for trout and also redfish in the Biloxi and Pascagoula areas around the lighted boat docks, and also the bridges and any place that shines light down on the water. Approach those areas carefully and slowly at night, and there's some great fishing to be had. Over in Alabama, trout fishing is very good early in the morning around the state reefs and also in the Dauphin Island area around the grass edges. Work those areas with the weedless lures for redfish, and there's also trout in a little bit deeper water. Dixie Bar is full of big bull redfish. In Georgia, it's around St. Simon's Island in the Golden Isles area, Captain Greg Hildreth says that the bull redfishing continues excellent. He's catching lots of them in the shoal areas around Jekyll Island and St. Simon's Island. Well, that's it for the coastal South. Get out in the water and take a youngster with you when you go.
There we go, I got him. That feels like a catfish. He's kind of turning, spinning like a catfish. Catfish. Big old catfish. All right. There's your blue. Slip the net under him. There we go. Well, if you can't catch redfish, catch a big old fat blue cat. Look at the size of that fish right there. And that bait hook got him right in the corner of the mouth. There we go. All right, there's you a nice Calaveras blue cat right there. So, if you come here, there's actually 2 primary game fish species that live in the lake. You've got the stocked redfish that are stocked here every year by the sometimes millions and can be caught pretty much year-round. And then there's a tremendous native population of channel and blue catfish. That's a blue right there. And a good size one. Look how fat. Would you look at the belly on that fish. That fish is eating, these fish are eating shad. See you, buddy. And we've seen just clouds and clouds of shad driving around here. Just big balls of it. In fact, I'll show you what some of it looks like on my Lowrance HDS Live. That's kind of how we found the spot we're fishing in right now. It's just driving around. The other cool thing about this lake that I've noticed is that it's a great bank fishing lake. If you don't have a boat, people are all the time emailing us through our website and asking us, where can we go if we don't have a boat? Calaveras is one spot you definitely can. There's access to this lake in several locations all the way around, and Bronig, right next door to it, is the exact same way. So if you don't have a boat and want to just bring your family and drive down here, the place is owned by an electric company, by an energy company. So it is controlled with parks and the hours you can get in and out. You'll have to check the website for all the details on that. But I think you can keep 3 redfish a day over 20 inches. And then I'm sure it's just the normal statewide length limit on both the channel and the blue catfish. All right, well, nice fish. Anyway, let's see what else happens here. You never know what you're going to catch on Calaveras. Hang with us. Quick backstory on these redfish. How can a saltwater species of fish live in fresh water? Had to go to live bait. It's the only way I've been able to get a bite. There's a bite right there, swimming it along the bottom. There's one. Gonna be another small one, it looks like. He's not fighting me very hard. Now he's fighting me a little better, but that's not gonna be a big one. It's all right though. That's another red. Well, it looks like we're gonna be relegated to catching these small ones because I just don't have the time to dedicate to try to figure out where all the big ones are. Boy, they are getting it down there deep too. Let me give you the quick backstory on these redfish. How can a saltwater species of fish live in fresh water, you might ask? Well, one thing is they're born and reared in brackish water along all of our shorelines and coasts. What I mean by that is they spawn in the back bays and in the canals and cuts, not out on the ocean or the Gulf. They're hatched there, they're raised there, they grow up in that water, and then they go out to deeper water, out to the Atlantic and to the Gulf of Mexico to become big bull redfish. But while they're small, the salinity in those back bays is constantly changing. Sometimes it'll be real salty, salinity real high, but then sometimes after big rains and big floods, those back bays become completely fresh water. And so the species has learned to adapt to that, and they can absolutely live in fresh water. It's also interesting when they stock these fish, what they do is they bring them in these trucks from their hatchery in Palacios, Texas, and they'll put them in those trucks, truck them here, but before they just dump them in the water, it's salt water in the trucks, and so they gradually mix it with lake water here from Calaveras and Brawdig over about a 4-hour period until that water in those trucks is completely fresh water. Then they release them. All it takes is about 4 hours and these fish can acclimate to this fresh water with no problem. So again, they thrive here. It's a put and take fishery. They're here just for recreational purposes to catch. They don't spawn. Well, actually, they do spawn, but they don't hatch and they don't reproduce here, so they're stocked handling.
Hey folks, it's time for your Carolinas Report. This week brought to you by the Crazy Sister Marina, located on the Marshwalk and Merle's Inlet. It's fall, it's time to get out and enjoy what our great waters offer right here off of our coast in South Carolina. And I tell you what, not a better place to go than Crazy Sister Marina. Inshore, nearshore, and offshore, our boats can get you on fish. Visit crazysistermarina.com and book your trip today. Let's talk about saltwater. We're going to stay on the saltwater side of things, and what we're going to start to see over the next couple weeks, the gag grouper start moving inshore. A lot of people think about that 100 to 120 foot water when they're thinking about grouper fishing. Next couple weeks, live bait, fishing on those 45, 50 foot areas. The ledges and live bottoms are going to hold some real big grouper this time of the year. You can get out and enjoy that yourself, or you can book a trip at New Inlet Princess with the New Inlet Princess here at Crazy Sister Marina, and our guys will get you out there on the fish. But I'm telling you, good live bait, bring mullet, menhaden, greenbacks, it doesn't matter. Get offshore with some live bait on those areas, 40 to 50 foot of water. You're going to have great success with grouper this time of the year. And also, don't think twice about putting out a drift line with another good live bait on it for some of the biggest king mackerel action on those live bottoms areas as well in that 40 to 60 foot of water. This has been your Carolinas Report, brought to you by Crazy Sister Marina. Remember, fish smarter, not harder, and keep your chaos organized.
Buck Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Mercury, Go Boldly. Lowrance, America's #1 fish finder. Balls Out, made in the USA. Heavy-duty mounts for your fish finders.
You know, I had heard about the catfishing here at Calaveras, that it is a great catfish lake. Here's a bite. He's got it. Got him. Oh, that's a better pull. I don't know what it is, but he's running out there deep. Not sure what this is. He's not fighting. He's fighting really funny. Catfish, big old catfish. Well, this is going to be a catfish day, it looks like. Big old blue cat. Well, man, look at that dude. What a great fish. Well, you might want to just come here and go catfishing if you can catch something like that. Look at that. Yeah, there we go. Well, we've managed to catch little redfish and big catfish. Very unexpected, but hey, this is making something out of nothing. Here, listen to him. What do you say? Man, you know, I had heard about the catfishing here at Calaveras for a lot of years, just like the red fishing, that it is a great catfish lake. I'm gonna let that one go back. Man, so yeah, if you just bring some cut bait or some live bait or some bait shrimp and just fling it out here under a bobber and set it down there fairly deep or let it sit on the bottom, you can catch one of these things. Looks like the catfish are what's biting. I have seen several fishermen catch some of these redfish and some nice ones. I mentioned earlier the guy in the kayak that had one 28, 29 inches. I saw a couple of other kayak guys that had great big ones like that. They're just trolling lipless rattling crankbaits around. And then yesterday evening, right before I loaded the boat, a guy had his limit of oversized, over 20-inch redfish. So I know they can be caught. This is my first time here. I am not a local. I don't really know what I'm doing a lot here, so I'm just kind of out here winging it a little bit. And I can catch these little small redfish, the little rat reds, a lot. I've caught a bunch of them, but the big ones are just eluding me. But anyway, it's a good lake. I want to talk about the water clarity here. It's a little strange. I did not expect this, but the water's just gin clear here. You can see down 5-6 feet, something like that. And the other thing is these fish are highly pressured. They get a lot of traffic. You can catch them. You've just got to hit it on the right day. But wow, that's a nice catfish. I'll take that fish right there any day of the week.
Hey guys, welcome to this week's Tennessee, Mississippi, and Alabama Fishing Report. As always, this report's brought to you by the fine folks over at Can Cooker. Go to cancooker.com and check out the amazing product line. From the original Can Cooker to the Gravity Grill combo to seasonings to tons of products that will make your life and preparing food much easier, go to cancooker.com and find out how to cater to your crowd. You know, it is getting better every day here in this region. The weather's cooling off. We're getting some of those big time northern fronts that make the water temperature start to dip. And those fish know as that water temperature starts to drop that it's time to eat. It's time to get fat, time to put on weight, get ready for winter. Their metabolism is gonna slow down, and because of that, they put on the feed bags right now. If I'm in Mississippi, I'm still crappie fishing. I know there's some good bass fishing right now, some good shallow water action on Ross Barnett. But I am probably going to go to Lake Washington right now, probably going to go to Enid, I'm going to go to SouthEAST, and I'm going to get out and I'm going to cast single baits to individual cover. That's my favorite way to catch them. It is a great way and a great time right now to go catch those big crappie as they're feeding up for winter. In Alabama, there's two places. I'm going to go to Guntersville, unequivocally, and go throw a topwater bait around the dying grass mats. This time of year, that grass starts to die off as it gets cold. You go find those transitions between the green grass and the dead grass, and that's where you're gonna catch your great big ones. I'm gonna throw a Strike King Mega Dog and the all-new Strike King 2.5 wake bait around those grass transitions. I'm also gonna go to the upper end of Wheeler Lake, right below Guntersville Dam, and I'm gonna throw a swim bait for giant smallmouth. Kind of a little known secret, or at least it was until I just told you. Guys, it's all about bait, it's all about water temperature, but it's all about getting out there and chasing them around. We'd love to see you here. God bless.
You can always watch our latest episode on the front page of our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. Catch up on past episodes and learn about fishing techniques and new gear at our how-to page. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter for new fishing videos every day. Simply search for Fox Sports Outdoors and click the like button on Facebook and the follow button on Twitter, and watch a new episode every week on any device by downloading the free Waypoint TV app on your phone, tablet, computer, or smart TV. Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Gulf Shores and Orange Beach. Request our free 2019 fishing guide at orangebeach.com. Lose, feel the difference. Gene LaRue and Bobby Garland, the best in bass and crappie lures, heads to tails. Glacier Glove, stay outdoors longer with our gloves, hats, and shades.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time for the Ask the Pro segment, where viewers get expert insights from professional insiders. Terry wants to know, what is the most favorite day of fishing that you have ever had? For the answer, we asked MLF angler Shaw Grigsby.
I have some unbelievable memories of taking my grandson fishing and watching him catch fish. And even last week, we're up there and he's catching them every cast. To me, that's a favorite day. I took my daughter and son one day, and my daughter almost got jerked overboard by a 7-pounder. That's one of my favorite days ever. And even one day when we weren't catching that many, my son is real serious. He's on the side of the boat fishing, and my daughter's in the back seat of the boat, and she starts spinning around in the seats. She sticks her feet out, boom, hits my son. He goes launching off in the water. That's one of my favorite days of fishing.
Thank you, Shaw. If you have something that you want to ask one of the pros, simply visit our website and follow the Ask the Pro link to submit your question. Now let's take a look at this week's Big Catch winner.
We are back at the Calaveras boat ramp near San Antonio, and it's time right now for this week's winner in the Big Catch of the Week contest. He's Greg Roten of Kingsport, Tennessee, showing a 23-pound blue catfish he caught at Cherokee Lake in Tennessee. If you'd like to have you and your big fish shown on television, go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/Fox Sports Outdoors. Go to last Tuesday's post. It's about the Big Catch of the Week, and follow the instructions to post your big fish photo along with the details of the catch. If you'd like to make a trip here to Calaveras or Browning to try for some of these redfish or the big blue catfish like we caught today, you'll need to bring some medium-sized bass-type tackle for the redfish, and you'll need to bring some lipless rattling crankbaits like a Strike King Red Eye Shad, or a medium running crankbait like a Strike King crankbait that runs anywhere from 10 to 15 feet deep in a shad or chrome pattern. For the catfish, you just need a simple Carolina rig, bring some bait shrimp or some cut bait, drift around and let it lay on the bottom down near the dam or off some of the points, and you'll have a great chance to catch some of the big blues like we caught. One of my buddies, who's ironically named Buddy Calzada, is a police officer at a large metropolitan city in the southwestern part of our region. He let me do a ride along the other day. I got to ride right in the front seat of his cruiser during an entire shift. Now, while I already had lots of respect for all of our law enforcement officials, I now have even more. While most of the folks he encountered during that 8-hour shift were very respectful, there were those select few that were just the opposite. They were rude, arrogant, and disrespectful, and I saw him handle his job in a very kind and gentle manner, even in the face of that kind of criticism. I don't think I could have done that. Our police officers and all of our law enforcement officials do a job that none of us would do, none of us would want to do, and they do it for very low pay. The very least we can do is give them all of the support, all of the encouragement we can possibly give them. Thanks for joining us here at Calaveras Lake in South Texas. If you'd like to make a trip here or to Lake Brownigan, go after some of these redfish or the catfish, you can contact Manny Martinez. The information you see on your screen, he'll put you in his boat, take you out, put you on some of these fish, and you'll have a great time. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week. Until then, I'm Barry Stokes. Be safe, have fun. Bye-bye, y'all.